Hello everyone, my name is Branislav Stojanovic, and in today's lesson I will talk about the extension of rhythmical motif. In the previous lesson I already mentioned the extension, so in this lesson I will say something more about it. Now we will listen to three musical excerpts, and your task will be to notice what is happening with the motif, how it's developing. Try to pay attention to colored notes, and if you need more time, stop the video. In the excerpts we can notice as follows. In first excerpt we notice that all the notes from the motif are equally extended. For example, two 16 notes in the first measure became two 8 notes in the second measure. Three 8 notes in the first measure became 3 quarter notes in the second measure. In the second excerpt, we notice that only individual tones are extended. For example, the first tone in the first measure is extended in the second measure. Penultimate tone in the second measure is extended in the third measure. In the third excerpt, we notice that tones are added to the motif. For example, in the second measure, one tone is added to the motif. In the third measure, one more tone is added, and in the fourth measure, one more tone is added. Now we will listen to the all three excerpts again, and you have the task to notice how is the dramatic flow moving. Is it going towards peaceful sound? Is it stagnating? Or is it going towards dramatic sound? We notice in all of our excerpts that sound is moving towards the peaceful sound. So the conclusion is, if you want to create a peaceful sound in your music, you can use extension as a type of motif work. You can use extension of individual tones, extension of all the tones of the motif, or you can simply add the tones to the motif. One tone, two or more. When you're adding the tones to the motif, you can add the tones at the beginning of the motif, somewhere in the middle of the motif, or at the end of the motif. Your next task is to take all of your 4 motifs with the repetitions that you did at the previous lesson and to add the following things at each of those motifs. For this task, don't worry about the time signatures. You can also erase the time signatures at the beginning of your motifs. In the third measure, take the motif from the second measure and extend an individual tone. In the fourth measure, take a motif from third measure and add a single tone. In fifth and sixth measure, take the motifs from the first and second measure and rewrite them. In the seventh measure, take the motif from sixth measure and add a single tone. In the eighth measure, take the all tones of seventh measure and extend them. Now we will listen my example of this task.